Hello everybody, it's Lisa Brown, Brown Eagles Crafting. We're going to go ahead and make this week picture frame week, starting with last night. And this is some of the little belt loops that I cut off all those jeans, and I wish I'd cut all of them off because I really didn't even have enough to do with this one right here after I started going along. We were able to use some of the seam pieces that I kept, some long strips of, and they really look like a strap anyway, so we kind of mixed those in at the top and the bottom. One thing I found out as I went along, you want to cut off as much of the end as you can. And if you want to just leave the threads on the outside and glue, like where they've stitched it over, you can go ahead and take that off and just let the stitch marks show. That way there's not as bulky on the sides. I did come back and fix the bottom of this one right here after I figured that out. And I cut off just as much of it where it folded over as I could. And you'll see here in just a minute what I'm talking about. This side over here, I just kind of went whichever color I picked up, went down. On the other side, I kind of had a little pattern. I wished I would have just kind of randomly put them on the other side. But I was just trying to make sure that I had enough to do. We're going to go ahead and get all the way to the top on this one. And then I started to get worried, thinking I don't have enough of these things because it looked like I had more than what I had there. Now you can see there where I'm cutting that off and gluing that down and making that a little bit thinner on the bottom. I am going to find a wide craft stick to put on the back of this so that it'll level it out so that I can put it a backing on it and put a picture in it. I am going to put the boys on the bottom of it. I think I'll cut it out with my laser and maybe either just put the grand boys or the boys or something at the bottom, maybe even their names. Now I'm just trimming all these off before I even start. And I'm just randomly putting these over. And you can tell there's going to be a big difference on this side over here because they look thinner because I trimmed them really good. And I didn't go back and trim the inside of those other ones. But I did do it after the video, so now it all looks the same. And that went a little bit smoother. Now I had to figure out what I was going to do with the top and that angle. I wanted to put a button on it, but I was afraid the button might pop off and it wasn't big enough and I didn't know how to fix the sides. And if I hadn't been feeling bad, I probably could have figured it out using that button. So what I decided to do is take one of the side seams that I had and I cut out that excess fabric. This was just like on the hem, I believe, of a pair of pants. And I just put that over the top and met it down on the side where it came up with the side pieces. You see right there, I just made sure I got it short enough to go right in there and cover the top. And then I took a wide piece that I had. There was a wide strap belt loop. And I put the wide one on the end and I put a thinner one, and that helped to bring it out to the size of the sides there. And then we didn't have to use the whole belt loop. We just had to use part of it to go up there to touch where it good night, can't even talk, to touch on the top where our piece was that we wrapped around it. And I put a little bit of glue on the cut ends to keep them from fraying as well. Now we're using about 3/4 of a belt loop going from the top all the way under and snipping it off at the back. And I did this all the way around, just random colors. I even ended up using some of the side seam because it does kind of look like a belt loop, has the way that it has the stitching. And I went ahead and used that for several pieces throughout the top and the bottom. And I used plenty of hot glue, and believe me, when I tried to tear one of these off, it was really hard to get loose. I had to use my heat gun in order to loosen up the glue in order to take it off to trim it up. Now I'm just trimming these as I go. And I'm just kind of going back and forth so I can kind of get that wider piece there in the middle. And there we go. We got the water piece in the middle and then just another small one to end it up. Now we're going to go ahead and figure out the bottom. I wanted to put that one band in there, but I couldn't figure it out. And so I decided I didn't want to have to cut that band up. I'm going to use it for something else, maybe on a different picture frame. And I went ahead and did the same thing at the bottom. I put the hem piece that I cut off all the way down the bottom and up the side. And I did the same thing. I put a water piece on the outside edge, a lot of glue, and then the smaller one to even it out to the same width. And then we did the other side the same way. And I made sure everything was touching so that you don't see any wood. Now we've got our little piece in there, and now we're going to start wrapping around to the back. And I'm going to try to trim off every one here. Some of them I went ahead and got 2 or 3 down, and then I trimmed off. And it was just however I could get it done. I need to get a picture of all 3 boys. I'm going to have to do some photoshopping since one is on the East Coast and the other 2 are here. I'm going to have my girls take some pictures for me, and then I'll put them all together sitting with each other and put it in this frame. I think this is going to be a cute frame. Anytime you have some jeans you're going to throw away, make sure you cut off the belt loops, because I figure probably about 5 to 6 loops on each pair of jeans is what I got. And I didn't even take them all. I just used probably half of them. But I did get some really cute pockets too. Now we're doing the same thing. I was kind of looking at the top to make sure I had my big piece on the same side as the other one, and I think I did. Now I'm just trimming it down just a little bit there. And I trimmed off that one right there to glue it down. And there we go, a cute little picture frame. Have a great day, everybody, and there'll be another one on tonight.